Vad kan jag hjälpa dig med?
Where is this
Jag
language?
vet inte, men...
Go live.
det är
Oh,
svenska.
that's how you do it. That's how you do it. We live.
Wow, echo.
I'm live.
Eko, det ekar.
Ekar. We
Are
live?
we live?
Are we live?
Yeah.
We should be live.
Not
I pressed
for
on
me.
go live. Yes.
Yes, now it is.
Okay.
And what? Oh my gosh,
Yes.
I hear this doing.
Now it is. It
YouTube,
is
please. It's not live.
I
It's
will
so
share
difficult to use YouTube live streaming, I tell you.
I swear. Chan, when you get a hang of it, please.
Yes.
Oh,
now it is,
whoa.
now it is.
That's the volume up button, not the volume down button. There we go.
Help.
Okay, now it's
We need
actually live.
help.
Help.
We need help.
Help.
How
Hello
to YouTube.
everybody if you're watching this stream
Hello.
in a different time.
Hello.
Hello, welcome
Hello.
to the stream.
We're
Welcome.
actually not 15 minutes late for once.
Can you believe it? Can you believe it?
Believe it.
Can you believe
Also, like, this is, you know, we're here for the first time of the year, guys.
it?
What?
Wait,
Oh my
it's a new year.
God.
Nobody told me. Nobody ever tells me anything.
That the
Yeah,
new
yeah,
year
It's a new
started?
year?
Oh my goodness, can you
Yeah,
believe it?
nobody tells me anything.
Can you
No one
believe it?
tell Elmo ever.
Don't stop
Upset.
believe. Oh, we should post around that we are live. Just say.
Yep,
Yes.
I'm doing it.
Do it.
Okay,
Do
you
it.
do that.
Oh my god, hi
Oh my
Mak-chan.
gosh,
Hello.
Maku-chan!
Ah.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year
Okay,
from
Sashiburi.
Gladly Global. How you doing, Mak-chan? How are you doing?
Glad New Year.
Glad New Year?
I almost said happy glad year, but that
It sounds right in Swedish a little more.
Glad New Year.
glatt nytt år,
Glad.
inte gott nytt år.
Ja, jag orkar.
Yeah, but it works better in Swedish than English.
Everything works better in Swedish than English.
Mm. Mm-mm.
Guys, I'm going to Finland.
When?
I booked it.
Oh.
I'm going.
Hi, Cody. Oh wait, is
I
that
think
me?
I'm going.
Yeah,
yes,
it's you.
Last week of February.
God
Yes.
dang it! I
Last
like
week of
turned the
February.
volume down, but then it turned itself up. What the heck? Sorry. Stupid
And
volume.
that's why you don't buy iPhone. I'm just kidding. Oh my god, making
It's,
cocoa.
blame YouTube. I'm using the official
Yes.
YouTube app, so I'm assuming it's a YouTube feature.
YouTube hashtag YouTube do better.
Yeah,
For real.
honestly, in every aspect.
Dango wishes. How do you... Oh, that's a normal. Okay, let's play some Dango. Dango wishes.
Dango wishes.
Hello. Hi Cody. Happy New Year.
ネタがわかんないけど。
Hello.
Hi Cody, Happy
Hi.
New Year, Cody.
We live. Oh my god.
Yes, we are live. We are live. Okay, so today, maybe I should start talking.
Yes,
Are people
please.
there?
Yeah.
I'm still sharing to Instagram and Twitters and these things.
Which
Join
you-
now.
Audience members do the same thing.
Join
Okay.
now.
Share on social media.
Yes, friends.
Share.
Today we are going to be talking about accountability, consistency, all these lovely things, because it's the first polyglot talk of the year, and all of these goal feelings and emotions and needs to do well are floating around in the air, and we want to have a good, nice, clean conversation about it, because, you know, if we just let our aspirations and expectations on ourselves run wild, we'll never be happy. So as responsible language learners, we
As a
have to have a
first-hand
talk,
witness, I can
right?
say
We have to have a talk, guys.
True.
Yes, as well as, of course, if you guys didn't know, we started an accountability group and membership to help you stay consistent last year, practically.
Mhm.
And so we've completed our first full year of accountability group. And
Insane.
it was amazing. Like, we have things to talk about. We have things to talk about because
Yes.
We actually did a whole year of accountability group. Like that actually blows my mind a little
We
bit.
did like 1.5 years, or like
Yeah, well, no, it
1
wasn't a half year.
point
We
a
started
bit.
in November the year before, but
Wasn't it
so
October? No, that was the server. Never mind.
November.
Sorry, I'm
So
getting confused.
November 2020, we
Mm.
started,
Wow.
and so
I
1
remember.
year and 2 months.
Yeah.
1 year and 2
I mean,
months of accountability.
Remember.
That was like 1 year
accountability
in total.
November.
Yeah, no, for real.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
Real sound. Especially actually 1 year and 1 month, because we ended the accountability meeting in December. So it was 1 year and 1 month. And that, yeah, we have learned a lot about how to stay consistent, and also how we fight consistency too. Because can you imagine that we meet every week for the entirety of a year, and still some weeks still some weeks we fight the consistency. There were definitely down months where people did a lot less, and months where people did a lot more. So we've learned a lot through our first round at the rodeo, and we're hoping to share some gems with you. If you have any questions, concerns, thoughts, ideas about consistency, accountability, maybe reflections about your 2021, how you did, and what your real struggles are with consistency, please leave them down below.
Yes.
Let us know what you're
Yes,
thinking, so
F
we
in
can
chat.
discuss.
No, wait. I mean,
I've seen the chat for 2020 and 2021, which were, well,
yes,
Oh,
amazing years
two capital
for
Fs
us,
of a years.
but in general,
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
I know.
Like every
yeah.
year, despite how awful a year is, there are always high points. There are always high
Yes.
points.
I agree
always.
with that, yeah.
Yes.
Very
Always
nice.
high points that we should focus on.
True.
Definitely.
I was like reflecting, speaking of which, right? I was reflecting because we did last meeting of December for the accountability meeting, right? Basically, I was like thinking about my year, and I wasn't very happy about it. And like Ray pointed out that I knew already that like I didn't put myself in a position to like achieve enormous goals last year, because I knew that I was going through stuff. And like at the end of the year, I had this feeling like I didn't do much. But Ray pointed out that actually like the things that I had decided to do, I had done. I decided like to dabble into some languages, and I did that. I didn't like super focused on all the languages like I wanted to, like in theory, of course, because I was being realistic. I couldn't do that with all the things that I have going on. And it's good to keep in mind that the only thing that you have, like the only goal that you have to have is to do your own best. It doesn't have to be the general best that everybody else might be doing, or like the super people on Instagram might be doing. It has to be what you can do, like tailored to what your experience and what you're going through. So that's a very.
But I think
that's something that I learned to
sorry.
do a little bit more last year.
Definitely. I definitely agree, and especially when like even like the top tier like language influencers, like if 𝕤𝕤𝕤𝕤𝕤𝕤 makes a video about language burnout, then you know like something is up. Like you don't have to like you don't have to like feel bad about not accomplishing anything, because it happens to literally everybody, especially like in the situation we're in currently. It's like it's inevitable that you're going to feel like that you're not going to like be able to reach the same peaks that you're expecting yourself, and you shouldn't expect that much of yourself. Just like go with like the flow, because in a sense where like there's ebbs and tides to everything, so you're gonna have peaks and you're gonna have valleys, and you're just gonna have to like take that as like take that for granted. You can't like expect yourself to be on a to be at peak performance like a majority of the time.
But also
Yeah.
Sorry, Ray, you go.
I know, I was gonna just say that I'm actually coaching someone on a few different things, but anyway, he was asking me some questions about what do I think would be key information. How could I get people to coach themselves? So what I do, how can I encourage people to see things the way I see it in order to like help and propel their language level and skill. And I was saying, honestly, the biggest issue is that in language community right now, we focus on metrics that don't matter, and then we throw the reality of how language acquisition works under the bus. So Anna's example is an example of that is a product of the environment of how, because weirdly enough, language community online is most definitely a subset of the study community online. The study community online is run by a high school mindset, if that makes sense. So even if they're not high schoolers, it's like a high school mindset. I have to keep going, I just got to get the work in, it doesn't matter why. It has that vibe.
Yay, capitalism.
You know, there's a lot of things in that. And so when you think about Anna's example, what it is that, okay, we know how languages work, we know that languages is a build-off thing. So even if, for example, Anna spent time familiarizing herself and getting the vibe of a language and starting to feel out how this language, you know, interacts with different things, and like how people express their emotions in this language, that might not translate into her being able to speak something, but actually that knowledge that she acquired doing that is going to apply to whatever next stage that she goes into. And it's not a waste of time just because you cannot produce in a obvious way for someone else to witness from you, you know. And so time spent, time deposited into a language is almost never wasted, as long as you are thinking and moving in a way that makes sense for what you want from yourself, you know. And so if you start with an expectation, yeah, I would like to do this is how I'm gonna start my foundation, and then later you go, but I have nothing to show for it, there's something that's like leading us astray with our goal building and our expectation management. And so if you want to coach yourself and see real results in 2022, you have to start asking yourself, really, what is this investment giving me? And am I okay with it? Is this important to me? Why or why not? Is it, if the answer is no, this is not enough, I'm not okay with this, why? Why do you need to do that a little faster? Is it actually more beneficial to do it faster? Is it actually a stronger foundation for you in the long run? Because, for example, if you spend a lot of time feeling out the language and really getting that vibe on your basics, that might mean so much more than rushing through and then forgetting it later. You know, so many things to that. Yeah. Yes.
Definitely. Yeah, it's the thing where people are too focused on like what is it, like visible goals, but for other people, so the people can, like, people outside can see their progress rather than doing things for themselves.
I agree with this. I want to say something about it, because like when we think accountability for self-study, for example, the first thing that comes in mind probably is you know, maybe starting a Studygram or something like that and sharing your progress. And once you get into the community, especially like language learners, there's there can be pressure from other people because you see people that speak 7 languages, 10 languages, and even if you speak already 3 languages like me, sometimes you feel like you're not, like, you're nothing, because
you need to catch up.
You need to study, and 7 languages to be, able. And there's a lot of like gatekeeping as well.
You're not in the club yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of gatekeeping as well. Yes. People that say you cannot be a polyglot unless you study like 5 or 6 languages, and like which is ridiculous, by the way. I'm just saying that once you get into the community, it's very easy to fall into the trap of, oh, I need to show off that I'm the super coolest polyglot in the hood, and I study every day a lot, and I'm learning 100 words every week or something like that. And like, That's not the case. Like, it's, you know, if you're a
Yeah.
university student and that's the only thing you do, maybe that's doable to a degree. But if you study for yourself because it makes you feel happy, you don't have to put yourself into the spot of being like competing in a way with this kind of people, and just live your experience, you know. I wanted to read chat a
Definitely.
little bit because
Yeah.
you're saying. So Makchan said, I used to summarize my entire year achievements to hype myself for next. Since pandemic I stopped, and I think I need to get back to it. I think it's good anyways, even if it's not like entire year, even if you're doing it like every month or every week even, I just say that it's a good habit. And especially if you're, you know, if you're focusing on the positive or the things you're proud of, definitely it's just a good habit, and I recommend you do it.
Yeah, you should always look back at your achievements. Definitely.
Yeah.
Like, regardless of like the time constraints that you put on yourself, even if it's within a year or month to month or even week to week. Like, as long as you're actively like looking back at, wow, I actually accomplished something, or I didn't know this word last week. That's like, it's important to really hype yourself up that way.
Definitely.
Because, like, small increments are better than like expecting yourself to constantly be like tackling like huge hurdles. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna read this entire book in like a week. But no, you learned 3 new words in a week, and that's enough.
Yep.
Don't worry, you're good.
Cody says, I think that sometimes people get into the practice of performing language learning due to pressure or kind of losing sight of the
Yes.
goals that matter to them. This is kind of what I went through at points, no, how do you say, at times in the past years, because when you're not studying languages full time anymore, like I was doing in high school, university, I mean, you need to, you find yourself in the harsh reality of, I don't have time. So that's the main thing. Like, I don't have time to work, do other things that I like, and also language learning consistently every day, super harsh, like in a way that makes me fluent fast enough to be, you know, satisfactory. So you need to like have kind of like a talk to yourself and be like, okay, I need to compromise what I want to do and what I actually can do, because you need to sleep at night. Don't fall into the trap of not sleeping at night as well. So that's the main thing, basically. Just, you know, kind of like looking at what you're going through, how much time you have, how much time you can give to these kind of activities, and definitely keep revising, because your life can change, your motivations can change as well. So it's good to, you know, go back and be like, okay, so maybe this didn't work, or it didn't work well enough, or you know, it can be better. So you can, you know, my career says my reality. So you can give the right amount of time to the right things. And I say this from experience. I don't know if you guys want to add something to that.
Which is to say that the right amount is the amount of time you can give to the thing without sacrificing your well-being or anything else in your life.
I feel like, so I have two things to say to that. And the first is that, yeah, the language, I mean, you know, people are posting their wins, and the people who are having these wins are having these wins after years or lots of, you know, cumulative progress. They just don't necessarily share every second, and even if they do share it, it's probably not going to get 10 million likes the same way that a win is going to get, which is natural. That's, you know, we celebrate our wins and we celebrate other people's wins. So there may be somebody who's like, yes, oh my god, I studied for 5 hours today. Why did they study for 5 hours today? Because they have the exam in 2 weeks. You know, like that's their reality right now. Or somebody else goes, oh my gosh, I achieved N1, right? But in that same tweet, it's not going to say, I achieved N1 after starting and stopping studying Japanese for the last 7 years. You know, people are not going to put disclaimers on their wins. And so you have to just, you know, look at the language community and try not to get swept up into things like that. because it doesn't make sense. Or it's the same way, you know, people look at me and they have like, I think there was this tweet at the end of the year that was like, okay, let's be real, guys. Did you actually achieve any of your goals?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I saw that. Yeah.
And almost everyone, as expected, was like, no, I didn't. And they usually say that most goals set in January are like never completed towards the end. It's like over 90% of goals do not get completed by the end of the year. But there's two aspects of that. The first aspect is how ambitious you were in the beginning. That you should always start incrementally and see if you're actually up to doing that amount of work, or if you have the time and the space and the energy to do that amount of work. And then the second aspect is that people are just focusing on whatever they don't do instead of whatever they do, right? And so anyway, I was one of the only people who was like, yeah, actually I achieved everything I set out to do last year. But and I had to say, because that's my position as a language influencer, I was like, but that says a lot more about my understanding about how languages work, my time and energy, and what I want out of my year than it does I'm a really hard worker. Because hell, there are some people studying way more than me in language Twitter and saying, or language Instagram, and saying I didn't achieve my goals. So their goals, I don't know what they were.
Yeah.
But they were too hard.
I want to be fluent in 10 languages this year. Oh, I didn't make it. I'm so sad. No.
What?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yes. Korea says, doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile, winning is winning. And I think,
very true.
Yep. So that makes me think, together with what I said, knowing yourself and knowing like your pace, your situation, the amount of time that you can give. I'm saying that again, but I'm repeating. Repetita juvent. That's Latin. I'm cultured. Wait, I can count Latin into the list.
You speak 4 languages? Yes, you can.
It's actually
definitely.
5 of them.
You speak 4 languages?
Because I know Venetian as well. Yo, I can be a polyglot. No, I'm just kidding.
You are a polyglot, officially. Yeah. Officially
I
polyglot.
can be a polyglot.
I need to catch up. Man, oh my god, all of this pressure.
Yeah. So
I'm the only one in here who speaks 3 languages.
I mean, well, I mean, you're learning Italian, aren't you? So, and Mandarin.
And Mandarin. So I'm.
Yeah. You're cool.
But on a side note, when we talk about the little bit more traditional idea of keeping consistency, like studying every day, I think that studying every day, you can. Okay, when we talk about habits, the first thing is when you start a habit, it's going to be the hardest for like the first month. Right? First month of doing a habit, every day you're gonna be like, ugh. In fact, okay, the first day you're gonna love it, the second day you're gonna hate it. About 4 days later, you're gonna love it again for 1 day. And then for the following 2 weeks, you're gonna be thinking, I need to change the habit. Now, if you can manage to push yourself through 30 days, usually the action of just like sitting and going, oh, I'm supposed to be doing this right now, feels so significantly lighter. And it's through understanding that process that you can actually get into your head, because your brain will literally try to trick you into thinking that you're sad for showing up to your goal, because it's like, do we have to do this all the time? Like, your brain wants to do things as lazily as possible. This is the truth. Your brain loves lazy efficiency. Laziest way possible your brain can do it, spend less time, then they're like, that option. And that's why we get bad habits way easier than we get good habits, because the brain processes our reward system very differently than our conscious mind does. So if you understand that, then when the first couple times that you go and you're like, I really don't want to do this, does this even make sense to do? Am I really doing what makes me happy? And you're having all of these philosophical thoughts because it's like the 3rd day of trying to build a habit.
Yep.
You just ignore those thoughts because they're just trying to sabotage hard work. And at that point, you just sit down and be like, shut up, say it out loud, and then just do something for even 5 minutes. Now, I've recently, in the last 4 months or so, been able to build a habit to study every day. Now, do I study a lot every day? No.
Yeah.
But every day at 4 p.m., I sit down and I just go, it's 4 p.m. And then I kind of lazily flip through my notebook and I'm like, and then I go, all right, okay. And I start writing something, or
Yeah.
maybe sometimes like I will just choose, I'm just going to write over this character until I get bored.
Yeah.
So that's my studying for today. I'm just going to keep rewriting this character until I get bored. It doesn't have to be something big, but
No.
if you really want to see yourself, because there will be days when you have a burst of motivation and you're like, but if you already have the habit in place to study more often, then those moments will be even more powerful, because you can have them a little bit more often than once every 2 months. You can have them like maybe like 3 times a week even, instead of the 7 days, if you have a little bit of consistency.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that?
And also,
Comments?
yeah,
And
like,
also,
yeah, no, and also like if you have a little bit of experience studying by yourself, you know how to hype yourself up. You know what kind of things you like doing. Like, I love taking my pens, opening my notebook, and write things. Like, that's what. So just the gesture of taking out the things, grabbing the pens and opening the notebook and the book, I feel hyped and I want to study, so sometimes it's just like the little triggers, like positive triggers that you need to know about yourself.
Definitely.
I wanted to reach out 1 second because Elizabeth says, have you guys...
Elizabeth asked a good question.
Yeah, you want to read it, Elmo-chan?
Yeah, if I can. I don't have any glasses yet, so let's see. Elizabeth asks, have you guys ever fallen in the comparison trap when you witness another person's language skills? If so, how do we turn it into a positive rather than a negative experience? More times than I can count on the 2 hands that I have been given.
Yes, it's
This
a constant struggle.
It is.
Yeah.
Honestly.
How to turn it into a positive experience. So remember how I was talking about those negative philosophical questions, right? Essentially, this is the same thing. So you experience something, you have a little bit of of these emotions, but they're not what you really think. If that person was your friend, if they were in front of you, right, you would be happy for them. If you were more like, your conscious mind objectively could be happy for this friend, for this other person, but your lower mind, your feelings of insecurity, etc., is gonna start poisoning and giving you thoughts just randomly to kind of tell you to pay attention to it. And so you have to first validate your feelings, but invalidate how it's being communicated to you, right? So the feeling is valid. You're allowed to feel jealous. You're allowed to feel insecure. You're allowed to feel negative things. But just because you feel those things doesn't mean it's true, and you can accept it and go, yes, you know what? I'm feeling a little bit vulnerable right now. I need to remember some wins that I do. And you focus in on that emotion rather than the truth of whatever thoughts are being put into your mind, And so I think, again, so the question is really, how do we turn it into a positive experience? Is you then detach yourself from the actual situation, that is, I'm paying attention to Laura and Laura's ability to speak so damn well in this language, and I remember when Laura started and we started at a similar time and I can't do what Laura did. Detach yourself from Laura and just go, wow, I have a lot of unresolved feelings about this. Let me focus on me. Let's find the things that I did really good this week. Let's find the things that I'm proud of about my language skill. What is special about me? And don't think about Laura. And then after, at the end, you can go, just say out loud, it's really nice that Laura was able to do that at the end of your wins.
Yeah, say it out loud, because I know how hard it is sometimes. I am jealous of Ray all the time, honestly. So, but that's...
I'm jealous of the 2 of you.
because we discovered I know 5 languages today. But anyways,
Yeah.
I think
And you officially qualify as polyglot according to language Twitter.
Gatekeepers, come at
According
me
to
now.
language Twitter. Yeah, for real. You passed.
I
the
passed
test.
the test. So, what I think, so I would say that probably yes, your friends that study the same languages as you, can can make you jealous sometimes. And also, I have this feeling also when I used to live abroad and I was talking with native speakers, like all the time they would speak about so many things, words that I didn't know, or like aspects of the culture that I never heard of, because it's a different country with different experiences. People are bound, like people will speak about things you don't understand. Doesn't matter how much you study. So that would be like probably the extreme example of how much you can feel that you're not enough, you need to study more. And I like when that happens to me. I think, well, like I give myself a challenge. I'm like, well, I'm gonna study a little bit more vocabulary or whatever, or I ask people, what did you say, can you explain to me? I'm gonna learn these things I don't know, and next time I will know. So that's also like I would say that negative feelings in that way can be a trigger of remembering better certain things, because you don't want to feel bad anymore about not knowing this kind of things. So that's also a good way to probably like repurpose the feeling, in my opinion.
Yeah, sorry. No, I just wanted to say that's even proven by like second language acquisition, like actual research. It's proven empirically that like making mistakes or not knowing things and then finding them out is like the way to build.
Yeah, definitely.
To sort of expand your comfort zone in the target language, definitely.
Yep.
So Cody is making a really great point in chat, and this is something that I spend a lot of time talking to people about, and just like okay, so in our group I may be a little bit impressive because I speak a few more languages. It's not that important, and I feel imposter syndrome and all of these things,
like everyone
as well. But because of that, I do, I spend time reminding everybody around me how great they are, how much I also look to them like, damn, I wish I could do that. You look at Anna's notes and I think to myself,
yeah,
I wish I could do that, or these different things. I don't think I could have lasted through a Japanese university course. Honestly, the 1 year that I scraped through for Swedish was the most painful thing ever, and Swedish is not Japanese, okay? So
no, it's easy. Believe me, it's
in
easy.
In comparison to Japanese,
easy,
for an English speaker, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, and so Cody's point, which is one thing about comparison as well, sometimes we have perspective of scarcity, like this person seems better than me, I feel like I can't do it too. But the truth is that there's enough skill to go around. It's never the end until you say it is. And maybe the knowledge that our potential is our potential is not capped by other people's success.
Right.
Be inspired. We're always growing, we're always changing. And this is big, because I have experienced that, where people are like, well, you do this, you're so good at this, that's why you don't get it, why I can't do it. And I'm like, no, actually, because I can do it is proof you can do it, not proof that you cannot do it. I'm so confused. Or my little brother is 13, sometimes he will be like, you don't get it, you're a determined person. I'm like, I'm not.
I feel
guys, this is not why. This is here because of painstaking slapping myself out of bed in the morning. And I'm not even joking. Sometimes I'd be sleeping and I'm like, and I'll literally be like, you're still sleeping. And I'm like,
wake up.
This is a lie. I just I'm most of these people that we think, oh, they're so beyond our level, like, how do they do that? It's just there's circumstances that are begetting something, and our circumstances were different at that certain time. And if you wanted to, you could. And if you're thinking to yourself, I can't, most likely it just means I don't actually want to, you know? So in that case, you should just drop it. You know, those moments where somebody is working 12 hours a day and you feel sort of jealous in a sense where you're like, how the hell are they doing that? I could never do that. Truth is, you could do that.
You can.
You could do it.
So you shouldn't process that as jealousy.
No.
You know what I mean? That's another thing. So, and I think to add to this line, because I think this line is so powerful that Cody said, right? Our potential is not capped by another person's success, right? Now, to add to that line too, we want people who are a little better at different things in our lives, because we grow to the potential of the people who surround us. If you surround yourself with people who don't fit, who are not challenging to you, do not inspire you, do not make you feel like there's anything that you could learn or grow with or whatever, then you won't learn and grow. You will stay the same where you are. You might deteriorate.
That's something, that's a trap as well, honestly, because when you know something, okay, it's very easy to put yourself in the situation, surrounding yourself by people that don't know how to do that thing, so you can feel like, oh, you're super cool because you can do the thing they cannot do, you know. And
oh my god, I do that all the time. It's so cringy.
Not to invalidate the fact that you can do the thing, but that's not the way. The way shouldn't be, I surround myself with people by people that cannot do this thing because I want to put myself up. The feeling should be, I surround myself with inspiring people because I want to grow, I want to be better, and I want to feel inspired by others, and at the same time inspire other people as well. Maybe you don't realize it, but with your own experience and your own words and your own, you know, everything you can share, you're probably inspiring people. You don't realize it, and it's very hard to, if you're not like a big influencer where people all the time are saying to you, oh my god, you changed my life, you might not be realizing it. But even if you have a little profile on Instagram or something, and you know, people see your stories.
If you have 10 followers on Instagram, at least 5 of those people, or at least 3 people, are following you for a reason, because they find you inspiring.
Exactly.
Because you literally remind them that they can accomplish just as much as you are.
So so that's one thing to keep in mind. Surround yourself by people you inspire, and you can be inspired by. Yes.
It's like another thing that sometimes when we have this scarcity mindset, no matter what we make, because the imposter syndrome, right? Imposter syndrome states that you must be at least somewhat professional in something in order to feel imposter syndrome. So if you don't, only, I think, don't quote me, but it was something like 2 to 5%, like that. Only a very low percentage of people who feel imposter syndrome are actually not good at the thing that they do. It's a very low percentage. And so the thing is that when we have this scarcity mindset, we continue to look at our skills as something that is not, you know, as something that is just not what it should be. When actually sometimes, for example, simplicity can be extremely powerful. And just because someone else can do something extremely complicated doesn't actually make that thing more valuable than yours. It's like, think about this. Let's talk about art that we can compare to language learning. And in art, you can have somebody who draws only cute chibis or cartoons, and that's their entire career. And then there can be someone who's a hyper realist and paints murals like the size of the wall. Is the chibi artist somehow less valuable than the person who does murals? Actually, not at all. Just because something seems more technical and has more skill doesn't actually make the other thing less valuable. It's equal value. And so with language learning, just because, for example, say one person can communicate like a native speaker, and you can communicate otherwise. Actually, it doesn't mean that that person is better than you even. We're processing it like that, but it doesn't mean that. You have equal value as humans, as communicators. You could even have your uniqueness could be a part of that. Are there things that you can learn from him? Yes. Are there things that he can learn from you? Yes. So it is that we have to separate the idea of value from technicality, because it's not actually the same. Value can be found in lots of different spheres and levels and places and whatnot.
My question is, why does capitalism keep flowing into my language learning? It's very frustrating.
My question is, how do you find a way to connect every sentence to capitalism?
I know, right? It's like the third time you
obvious.
say this today.
But it's because it's true.
Capitalism, man.
For
No,
real.
honestly, capitalism is the great evil
Ruined
of the
my
world.
life.
Capitalism is responsible for no, but seriously, honestly, like imposter syndrome is 100% tied to capitalism. I swear. I don't have.
I would
proof for it
say
yet.
that probably
I'm sure there's evidence of it.
yeah, I tell you one thing about capitalism if you want. It's like the idea
Yes,
that you
please.
cannot have a hobby if you don't make money out of it. That's what it is. So, and it's also
or
tied
provide value, even if it's not monetary value. Even if you're not influencing people, if you're not if you're not inspiring people, then you're or you're not being impressive to other people.
Doing something for your own brand.
Failing.
I think like this is a problem with also having a hobby like language learning. Like we feel that it has to be for something like to find a job or to live in a different country or you know to make an app for language learning so we can make money or something like that. And it doesn't have to be the case. Maybe you're so passionate about it that you want to make it your job, and that's perfectly acceptable. We are doing it, all of us. But if you don't feel like you want it to be your job, if you're perfectly fine with your job or your studies or whatever you're doing, and you want to study languages as a hobby because you like it, do it. Like, you know, you don't have to give a reason to the fact that you like it. Yes.
Actually, you know, I will make a high level inference into this capitalism. It's not only like, I mean, I guess capitalism begets classism because
definitely,
you know, the hierarchy of value. And I think classism actually affects the language learning community a lot, because I don't know if anybody has heard, but you know, we talk about the difference between the word immigrant and the word expat, and we talk about bilingualism. That is really cool if you're upper class, but bilingualism as lower class is somehow not as cool.
That
right?
is
if you're
crazy.
bilingual and you learned a second language
For real.
when you grow up in a country where you speak the first language natively, and then you learn a second language, then you're cool. Then you're a cool bilingual. But but if your parents are immigrants, you're a second generation immigrant or whatever, and you're still raised in a country, growing up with the culture, whatever else, then like you're
they're like, well, why don't you speak English better? Like, who
you
cares
know,
about your mom
there
and
was
your
like,
papas?
oh my god, wait, you look different than the native population. Wait, but you speak the language so good. How?
Yeah, there was
But
this.
you're still not.
I want to leave Ray finish their thought, but there was this post. I think there was this post about the little prince of England. Don't ask me, I don't know these kind of things, but like it was royal family, and it was, oh my god, they can speak already 2 languages at 2 years old. We were like, so many people do that, but it's not impressive.
So
if
can
not
a majority of people who grow up in bilingual households. Everybody who grows up in bilingual households can do that, because interlanguage is a thing that exists in every aspect of life. And like as a child, you're not as a small child, as a 2-year-old, you're not like differentiating between different languages. You're not really saying, oh, this is English and this is Polish. You're like, you're active, you're just taking everything,
you're just using both of them.
Then exactly, because it's around you all the time, because it's what's spoken in your home.
And so that is to say that this classism affects more than we think it does. It's not only how we perceive other people, but it's also how we perceive our goals. Because if you notice, if you achieve a more, say, humanistic something that is achievable for lower class. So for example, speaking casually, fluently, speaking with an accent, you maybe being able to interact on your own is not somehow a little bit less impressive than getting a certificate, or a graded test score or something like that. If someone gets a test score or can read and write in the language, or for example, fluency, the word is supposed to do with your ability to communicate. That's why we have the word literacy and fluency. So it's technically not the same thing. Like when you are fluent, you don't have to be able to know how to read yet. But a lot of people view fluency, the word fluency means native level production, and that includes reading
Which
and
is not even
writing,
the case.
which again is a big classist, because if you think about it, not everybody goes to university even.
Yep.
And so the university level of producing and being able to write an essay and read these higher level things and pass an exam that makes you read about history in the second language, it's actually quite classist. So the standard that we're putting on ourselves and feeling pressure for, because most people actually don't reach that level.
Definitely.
So the way that we're perpetualizing that in the language community is not because most people are actually aiming for that. It's because for some reason we've internalized that as a standard for second language learners.
Right.
Because there's always been a classist standard on immigrants to achieve that level in order to be accepted in society. So so this is a bigger conception, but I see that it does definitely affect the way we perceive goals and the way that we judge ourselves, because we could make incremental progress in different ways, but if we don't make that incremental progress, somehow it's worse. Or somebody who, for example, says, I finished this textbook, it says nothing about like how their language fluency has actually progressed, but for some reason that statement is a lot less questionable in the community than to say, oh, I've improved my speaking with something else. And they'll just be like, but did you? Like, how much? Can you I've had people literally DM me like, oh, I heard you study Chinese, let me test you, or something like that. And I'm like,
you can't quantize. You can't quantize
See,
like language.
Let's see. Take this
You can't
test
quantize knowledge
on this
language
website that is 100% legit. I keep, by the
Like-
way,
like, if
don't
you-
do that.
if-
They are
if you
always
take-
full of
no,
errors.
don't do it.
Don't do it for real.
Definitely.
Every time
But
we
even
do.
if you take like even if you take a standardized test, like the JLPT or Topic or HSK or whatever, like they never test your speaking.
Yeah.
So
There
like,
depends. There are some languages that do, like English, of course. But
but a majority of them don't. And wait,
and even if they do, the level of speaking test that they test is still easier than the writing test. Like the reading test is significantly more studying than the speaking test. But that's besides the point. The point is just that we feel more validated by those metrics than the others when they should be equal.
because they
no,
can be
exactly.
measured more easily. That's the thing, probably.
yeah,
They can be tested.
exactly. Like
That's also an aspect.
it's like you wouldn't tell a 3-year-old who only speaks one language, like they've grown up in like, well, just they grew up in Norway their whole life and they only speak Norwegian, but they can't speak Norwegian that well because they're 3 years old. But you wouldn't tell a 3-year-old Norwegian child that you can't speak Norwegian because their grammar is awful and they have like no vocabulary.
Yeah.
So you can't quantize language learning the same way you can other subjects. It just doesn't make sense. You shouldn't. You shouldn't. And well, objectively, like you can't. At least not by the same metrics that you would use for other things.
You can, but you shouldn't.
Well, yeah.
It's not accurate, but you can, but you shouldn't. So the point is that
If you want an accurate picture, you shouldn't.
Yeah, it can be easy to fall into that trap, and I'm saying that those academics, they've long been, standardized tests have long been a way to literally separate classes. So these things we have to really think deeply about them and how they affect us mentally, because that's the most important part. Is it bad to take a test? No. Is it bad to enjoy those metrics? No. They're great. But you just think about if it's affecting you negatively mentally, and if you're weighing those results more than other things, you should consider why, or if it's actually that important to do so.
True.
I'm going to read the next comment here.
Yep.
Elizabeth said, Oh no, wait. Maki said, "Please tell me that I am inspiring."
People,
people
tell
tell
me.
That
me
is
that.
But
also a
yes,
trap
you're
because-
inspiring.
You are inspiring, Maki. You're right. People tell
We
you
love
that,
you,
and we
Maki.
tell you that too. We love
Yes.
you. You're
Yes,
inspiring.
but this is also a trap because then I put pressure to post the best quality content. In the end, I post nothing because of imposter syndrome.
Yes.
That's
Same.
me.
What a mood. Yes.
Same.
That's us.
That's
Gladly global.
gladly global for you.
summarized in a single sentence.
Oh my
Gladly
God.
global
Hey,
team.
Maki, you should be on the team. You have all the qualities we're looking for.
Oh boy. Elizabeth says, "Good points. Oh, thank you." Conversely, have you heard of the Dunning-Kruger effect? Have you ever felt it?
I don't remember
For-
the
for all of
definition,
us.
but I'm
Dunning-
90% sure I have.
Dunning-Kruger effect is the opposite of imposter syndrome. So it's where you don't know much, but you feel
Like you
overconfident
know.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
about what you know.
Definitely.
I mean, it's yeah.
I have both. I have both sides of the sword. I keep stabbing myself with the sword because it's
Yeah.
it's
Double-edged.
yeah it's
Yeah.
double-edged. It's sharp on
I
both
think-
edges.
Name.
In language learning specifically, I experienced the Dunning-Kruger effect the most in listening. So when I've become a lower intermediate and I listen to things, I swear I'm understanding so much, and then I turn off the subtitles and I'm like,
Yes.
yes.
Oh my god, yes.
Oh
Yes.
my
I
That's
didn't
that's
think-
the moment that catches me every time.
I didn't think about that at first, but yeah, that's definitely me. Where I'm like, with subtitles, I'm like, yeah. And then I turn off subtitles. Where did 70% of my listening comprehension go?
Subtitles in language,
that's
by
my-
the way,
that's
not in English, of course. We're talking about.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, native,
that's my Dunning-Kruger.
not
Yeah.
native. What am I saying? Target
cool.
language.
Yeah.
I'm like that with speaking, where like if I can talk about like 3 topics and I can talk about them very well, like I have a lot, like I have a well-rounded vocab and like I can talk about it and stuff. But then, and I start out the conversation like where I'm comfortable. But then somebody comes in and throws a curveball at me and changes the topic.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, where did my language go?
I know, right?
I swear, I knew this language this morning.
These people that change the topic for real. Elizabeth says, by the way, good points. All thank you. Yes. I'm enjoying this conversation today. Conversely, have you guys? Oh no, I read that.
Yeah, that was the one. Ray
Sorry.
just read.
Makchan says all these moments
That's
people were thinking I am an expert when in reality I just prepared to my videos without having need to know the bigger picture of the topic. So people label me now to areas I barely know. I say, well, that's also a kind of a problem in a way, but it's good to keep informed even when you're kind of an expert in a field. The big thing to do all the time is to stimulate yourself with sources all the time. Don't just sit on the fact that you know, but challenge yourself and listen to other people, talk with people about other things as well.
Yeah.
Like try to
Sorry.
try to
Sorry.
try to keep your knowledge fresh in a way. So that's a good thing to remember anyways. Salieri once said something in the lines of, God cursed me with the ability to recognize greatness but not create it. However, do not look at it as a curse. Enjoy it. Enjoy the great things other great, for real. I mean, the thing that we all have to realize, I'm talking for myself as well, is that people that do great things, maybe like they just did the same thing very badly for many years, and then at the end they have so much experience that they can do it greatly without much effort. Like, this is the thing. You cannot just wake up one morning and be like, okay,
no,
I'm gonna play the piano, and just play the piano like, I don't know, Iruma or something.
Even Mozart's father was a professional musician, so that's the only reason. Because Mozart was brought up to be a musician. He was brought up to be a musical genius. So it's all about your environment. Your environment shapes your habits, which then shapes your what kind of person you're gonna be, what your interests are gonna be, or how well you're gonna perform at things. So like
Yeah.
the whole like the whole like rivalry between Salieri and Mozart is made up, by the way. It's only in the movie. It's not actually part of real life. Because I mean, you, for one thing, you can't be like the court musician, like the court composer to the Emperor of Vienna, if you're not a good ass musician. Like that's impossible, for one thing. But also, yeah, no, seriously, like your environment matters. So if you want to reach a certain point, surround yourself with people who have similar goals. It's that simple.
I mean,
even if it's not in your sort of natural sphere, make steps to get towards that point and keep
It's as simple as big wins don't come from anywhere. That's
yeah,
the,
it's
they
all
don't
hard
come
work.
from nowhere.
There is no such thing as talent. There's no such thing as talent and natural
true.
disposition.
Say
It's
it
all hard
louder
work.
for the people in the back. There is no talent, just hard work. I mean,
Yeah, no, it's true.
There are things, but it is significant.
Yeah, no, it's
I tell you.
5%.
I
It's
tell
like
you what
5%
talent is.
tops.
Talent is keeping your motivation high while you do things repeatedly or like 1,000 times.
Hyping yourself up.
Yeah,
That's a talent.
that is talent. Like being able to keep that consistency and keeping your motivation high all the time. That's talent. If you have that, I don't know what to say. I'm so happy for you. Please teach me your ways. But also,
yeah, honestly.
but there is no talent in the way that, oh, you speak so many languages. Oh, it's because you're so talented with languages. No, I studied hours and hours and hours, and now I know languages. But like this doesn't come with like, just like being, oh yes, I just remember words, you know, without effort. Like that doesn't apply with anybody.
It
really doesn't. Like at the beginning. No, sorry. Go ahead, Ray.
There are factors. So what Rasmus was saying about like Mozart and his home, am I gonna say that the only reason why Mozart is amazing is because he has a background of music? No, I'm not saying that. But we're saying is that these things contribute. So Mozart would have had early talent, but he also had the platform of doing it every single day since he was a baby, and being around music and experience music every single day since he was a baby. And so that contributed to his opportunities to shine, first of all. The same thing when it comes to language learning. I would say there are certain predispositions, like one, having an amazing environment to study at home, right? This is one thing. The other thing may be being a tiny bit neurotic, where you're consistently wanting to show some improvements. You want to make very, very meticulous notes. You're this kind of person. Probably you'll have more quote unquote talent in language learning. For me, I always tell people my one talent for language learning is that I have a very clean ear. So I can hear the differences between accents and sounds quite clearly. Even if I cannot reproduce them at first, I can hear the differences. Not everybody can do that. And so I can say, all right, that helps me. But just because I have a clean ear, I could have went and did music. You know, I could have been music that I'm using this talent for. Still, the reason why I speak languages is not because my ear is clean. It's because I spent hours and hours and hours and hours and hours doing it. And so... the point is, yes, you can have predispositions to things and environmental factors that produce predispositions to things. But the bulk of it, the 90% of it, is the work and the decision to put in things. So you just and you have to see 1,000 failures before you see goal moments. Like you get 5 wins. Every 5 wins has 500 slower, not so glamorous moments, and we should expect that. Not be not think about it later. I mean, yes, we can think about it later, but in the moments of non-glamorous, when you are writing something and think, I'm freaking quitting, I'm going to burn this damn notebook, that's when you should be thinking, this is one of my 500 moments to 5 wins this year.
Yes, I'm like 100 more pages towards victory. Like, come on.
Yeah, true. But
every step is a step on the way.
Anything you
I just wanted
can
to bring up because wait, there's some stuff in the chat.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's see.
Also, hi to all the new people. Hello. I see Ernie, Lucas, and the Grand Fire Expert. Wow, such a name.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's very impressive. That's an impressive name.
Let's
Like
start
I trust.
with comments. Sorry, let's start with not the question, just so that we can spend long time on that question a little
Yep.
bit after.
Yeah.
And just read some of the things like ciao to new people.
Ciao.
Yes.
Then here Lucas says, I just wanted to tell you that at the end of last year I heard Swedish for the first time and fell in love. So this year I started learning Swedish.
Oh my god.
Mycket bra.
Jättekul. Fantastiskt.
Wow,
Grattis.
jättekul. This is so
Hurra.
awesome. Like
Hurra.
cool.
Hurra.
Like wow. Welcome to the Swedish fam.
Hey.
We're the Swedish podcast now. Anyway,
Ernie says, Elmo, you want to read it?
oh no, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. Ernie the Daily Learner says, hard work. After a year, hard work is what made the difference. Now, I'm
Definitely.
coming from the man named Ernie the Daily Learner. We love it. Ernie, we want tips.
We
in
cannot
the chat.
expect
Please
anything
give
else.
us daily learning
Teach me how
tips
to
in
learn
chat, Ernie.
daily.
The Grandfire expert tells us talent can also be genetic. Some people can be more talented than others. They can get a head start, but it doesn't matter how long you take to get there, as long as you get there. This is true too.
Very true.
You can have certain talents. This is why I was like calming down the brigade up there. But you know, yes, people can have talent, but also it doesn't matter.
No.
You can get to the exact same place. Does it matter if it
'Cause-
takes you twice as long? Actually, it doesn't at all. Is it less valuable because you took twice as long as the other person to do it?
No.
Absolutely not.
I want
and
to say
so,
something.
Again, still, talent is less.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you're talented,
also have a thought.
or people
Like,
say
after.
that you're talented, it's easy to be like, oh yes, I have a talent, I can do it easily, you know. And it's
Yeah.
very easy to quit when something like that is in your mind, engraved in your mind, because like let's say a test doesn't go as well as you expected. Even if you didn't really study on it because you're talented or you know things already, you know, and it doesn't go as well, and you're like, oh well, but it's because I had other tests I had to study for, or like the teacher is mean or something. It's very easy to blame other things, not yourself, when you're like having your mind this engraved thing that is like, oh yes, I'm talented, I can do it easily. Instead, the person that is used to hard work to reach their goals all the time, if the test doesn't go as well as it was, they're more likely to look back at themselves and be like, I should have studied 2 hours more this topic that I didn't study, or like, you know, maybe I should study for 2 weeks instead of for 3 days before the test, or something like that. It's way better to improve yourself and to be introspective when you're already used to hard work and working on things that maybe are not too easy for you. So I just want to say this. So don't, like, actually it's better to not be talented or something, in my opinion.
Yeah, because you appreciate the work much better. And I also, that's really funny that you say that, Anna, because I actually wanted to just say a little tidbit on the same topic, which was, I wanted to bring up Mozart again, because he's such an like excellent example of like a child prodigy and whatever, which is the fact that, like, if you are consistently being told that you're talented in this, and like you have such a natural talent, like you're so good at this, after a certain point, you're going to believe that. Like, you internalize that, so that in turn hypes, like you internalize that, and then you're like, yes, I'm fucking amazing at this. I am a fucking, sorry for swearing, but I am a genius.
Stop swearing. This is YouTube. You're gonna demonetize our video. Yes, continue.
Sorry. I'm bad at that. Anyway, I'm a pirate. Anyway, a pirate's life for me. No, but like, you really internalize that after a certain point. If you hear it enough, like especially like growing up, like during your formative years, then you'll be convinced of your own self-worth. So you'll never have to struggle for that sort of motivation or the imposter syndrome, because you'll be convinced of your own self-worth and the fact that what you're doing is amazing, and you actually have this talent.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that the thing about this as well is that when you think about it, like that mindset. And so Cody at the end, I'm just kind of peeking, I didn't read the whole thing, but said that growth versus fixed mindset has a lot to do with this conversation as well. And part of it has to do with that, like
Yeah.
if you are told consistently from childhood that yes, you can do this, yes, you are great at this, yes, you're capable of improving, or even from your friends or from whoever, it does significantly help you if you can believe. And this connects back to the scarcity mindset idea as well. If you have a scarcity mindset, it's probably because you've had less of that. You feel less of that. If you can convince yourself that you're great at something, even if someone else is great at it, you're not going to feel anyway, because you've already decided, you believe firmly that you are great at something. You're not going to be looking in someone else's garden and trying to confirm. So it's important to, now that, like, I mean, yes, we can talk about that as a predisposition for other people, but how can you recreate that in your own life today? Because it's never too late to start creating the environments, creating the friend structures, creating the personal beliefs, widening your mind, shifting from fixed to growth mindset, and not thinking that, okay, I started like this is where I am for the rest of my life, or, oh, I'm not born a genius, oh well, that's not, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
To go back, let me see, I see
Elizabeth has a lot in the chat. We should read some of Elizabeth's comment.
yes. First, I would just, Lucas said, I agree with Anna, perseverance is the most important thing. Heart, 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 eyes, miming. Elizabeth said, miming. Elizabeth said, interesting. I grew up in a multilingual home, and I feel like it's given me an advantage in identifying patterns in new languages. I feel like it's doing a disservice to not recognize this advantage in front of my friends who grew up monolingually. On the other hand, they think that because of that, language learning is easy for me. And this is exactly the point where, rather than minimizing yourself, for the opposite, it's more explaining how those factors affect you. And again, discrediting the idea that that just means that you're talented. You have learned something before them. They too must learn how to identify language patterns and these kind of things, and they can do it by exposing themselves more. You do have a head start. A head start does not necessarily mean anything. You have learned it first, just like if someone else learned a grammar structure first. You're not going to say, oh well, you already know, so you don't understand my struggle. Just because someone learned something first, right?
Yeah.
So I would be confident in what you know. Everybody starts in different places in life. There's nobody who starts at the exact same place, except maybe your twin sister, if you have one. In that case, you know, in that case, you should just acknowledge your privileges and acknowledge your disadvantages as well. Ernie, the daily learner, says, I have no talent, but doing something daily in Italian helps get where I am. And I've never learned a language on my own before.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's really great. It's
fantastic.
Super inspiring. I'm so happy
Let's
for you,
speak in
Ernie.
Italian sometimes. Also,
yes,
let me
but
tell
I only
you.
know swear words, so we can't do it on YouTube.
well, even you can learn other things to say.
Yes, I can, but not at the moment.
You don't need to listen to everything I say all the time and just learn it. No, but I want to share the fact that we have a Discord server. By the way, it's in the description, but I'm gonna also link it in chat. If you guys feel like you want to speak with people that have the same interests and are learning the same languages, please consider joining. It's free and it's a nice place. You can check it out and then decide if it's a place for you. And everybody is nice, it's true. That's very true. I'm also there. I'm gonna greet you as soon as you come over and introduce yourself. And you can ping me for anything you need. Just saying. Discord server, link in chat now. So I just want to say, consider joining the community there, because it's the place where it's more active. If you enjoy the drill.
If you enjoy our content, you can talk to us every day.
Yes,
on Discord.
Server. I mean, mainly me. Let's face it. It's true.
Inspiration. Share your wins.
Yes.
Bask in the glory of other people's wins, and also help give support to people who are not feeling so hot as well. That's also really prevalent and connected to the conversation today.
Or if you are not, there's space for you to sort of just tell everybody else, just vent about all of your struggles, and people will support you because we love you and we want the best for you.
Mhm.
I have to just answer this too because I see my great aunt in the chat.
Oh,
She
Wow.
said, yeah, she said,
I don't even have one of those.
Katio is just one of my names. I learned a few Korean phrases because of you. Hi,
Oh,
auntie.
hi, auntie. Thank you.
Yes. Then also we see sorry, Cody, to continue off of Cody's growth mindset thing. She says, I think the growth versus fixed mindset has a lot to do with this combo because while someone may have a natural aptitude, aka the talent aspect we're talking about, that might encourage a mindset that is not adaptable to change.
It's
which is
true.
true. A lot of people, this is the gifted child syndrome. So
Yes.
if you have it easy, you're in your early childhood, if you have a lot of things easy, or you are perceived that things come easily to you, you might feel that means that's all you get and that you don't have to work hard for improvements. And
Why do you have to out me in public?
We've been outing you all day.
Yep.
But that's even worse. I'm triggered.
I am guilty of the gifted child syndrome.
I think
as well.
everybody who is a part of Gladly Global is, to be fair. I think it's
we all
another
have
like
some kind of
it's another box you have to take to be a part of Gladly Global. Is you have to.
No.
No, I say have to. It's coincidence, but
I
like
know. I just
unspoken
we don't need
rule.
more of us like this, please. I want some healthy people in Gladly Global.
Too bad.
Oh my goodness.
If you have great mental health and you want to help Gladly Global,
Please.
come and be a pillar of moral support.
If you want to be our in-house psychiatrist, please sign
We
up
accept.
now.
Yeah, we
need you
accept.
more than
We
ever.
recruit people for moral support in the team for real. Just people that say,
Definitely.
do this. You
Like,
can
just
do it.
show up. Just show up. Just show up and encourage us.
Just
and we
publish
love
the
you.
thing.
We
yeah.
need it. We
Yes.
need it.
So I think we should start wrapping up because it's been over an hour. But
Yep.
there was a question that the Grand Fire expert asked many comments ago, and I said let's keep it for later after we go through the comments that came. But then we got quite a few, and we got excited. We talk a lot, guys.
Wait.
That's why we love being here.
Why can't we do next live stream about this? How can we make language learning more natural? It seems like a very big topic to talk about, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
That's
no,
true. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fair.
Sure.
I'm gonna
February.
I'll take
What
it.
day? Okay, February
February.
5th. February 5th.
Yes.
Gladly Global
February
live
5th,
stream.
guys.
How do we make
Yes.
language learning more natural? Boom.
Yes.
So-
See you there.
Yes.
So the grand
Let's just
Really
give
nice.
some information about things that are coming up, right? Do you want to do that?
Oh yeah.
All
we
the
have so much
things.
stuff. We have so
Sure.
much
Okay.
stuff.
So the first thing to talk about is that we're going to be doing a powerful language goals workshop that is going to encompass a lot of the stuff we talked about today, but with a little bit more detail. Things like the Goldilocks rule, the 80-20 rule, more talk about imposter syndrome, the Dunning-Kruger effect. We're gonna talk about how languages affect each other. Got some Venn diagrams that were a hit last year. We're gonna be working on these, as well as I am creating a very sexy Notion page. And there are some worksheets from last time to help you to really track and decide your goals in a methodological and healthy manner. And so there's even gonna be graphs and habit trackers inside of Notion.
Oh,
Are you excited? I
Sexy.
figured out how to do things. It's gonna be sexy as hell. It's gonna be free for anybody who buys a ticket to the event. It's after the event, I'm going to be putting it as a product on our coffee page afterwards, but it's gonna cost more than the event ticket. So even if you cannot come tomorrow Sunday at 4 p.m., you can also grab an event ticket. We're gonna be recording it for the first time, and so since we're recording this event, if you cannot make it exactly at Sunday 4 p.m. CEST or 10 a.m. ET and CET, no summertime. If you cannot make it, then you can still purchase a ticket, and we will send you a recording of the event via email with the Notion template and the worksheet. And so I actually have not fully detailed my goals out yet. I have been saving it to do it together with you guys on Sunday, which is tomorrow. So
Tomorrow.
grab a ticket.
Yes.
Grab a ticket if you'd like to go. Other
There
than
is a
that,
link in chat for you.
things-
Do it now before you forget.
The accountability group is also starting again. So Gladly Global membership is open, as it always is. You can sign up anytime, but this is the best time because we're starting fresh from zero. The following Sunday, is that the 16th?
Yep.
Yes.
16th? Yes, the 16th. The following Sunday, we're going to be starting our accountability group. That means every single Sunday for the rest of the year, we're gonna be meeting and keeping you consistent. Every time I ask language learners, what is the hardest part about learning languages? Everyone says consistency. There has not been a single time that anyone has said to me anything but consistency. Maybe I'm exaggerating, maybe once or twice, but really 90% of the time people say consistency. Yet no one invests in consistency. So we brought to you the Gladly Global membership, where we can keep each other not only consistent but inspired. We have journaling prompts for every week. We have a private server section of our server where we can interact and motivate each other, as well as ask questions. And you can also ask for personal assistance when it comes to your goal or revising, reflecting on what you've done throughout the year from either me, Elmo, or Anna, and some other team members as well that you can meet when you come in.
We
Let's
also
just
have
talk
a
about
polyglot magazine, just
I
saying.
just want.
Oh
yeah, we
have a
whole
polyglot
magazine.
magazine. We
Yes.
have printables. Check out the shop. Also, we're starting again hot with YouTube this year, so make sure you subscribe. Just say, because super cool things are coming. Subscribe. Bang that bell. How do you say that? I don't know. Click that bell. Ring the bell.
Click the bell.
Wow, professional. Korea, do I need a ticket for this? If you get a membership,
If
you don't.
Good. If you
Korea,
buy
no, you do not. Korea is already member. Continuous.
Yes. So
did
if
not
you
sign
purchase
up
a
to the
membership, you will gain free access to this and all future events as long as your membership is valid. So
Yes.
Exactly.
save yourself
Free
some
membership,
trouble.
free
Buy a membership.
polyglot magazine 3 times a year. That sounds like a big deal for me. I don't know about you.
Wow.
Wow.
Wait,
Wow.
you get free stuff for paying for things?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, that's how it works.
Isn't this too?
If you liked our energy, if you liked our energy today, you can also tip us on Ko-fi. You can send us a $3 tip in, purchase a Starbucks moment for us in the long run. We
Yep.
save up these little tips to help save up for little Gladly Global meetings IRL. So if you enjoyed our energy, if you liked seeing our faces today, then you can tip us on that same coffee page on the home section that you see linked twice here. This is gonna take you to the shop page, but if you just go to the home tab, there will be a section to tip us. We appreciate you guys coming here. Whether you tip or not, you don't need to tip, but thank you so much for showing up. Having you comment in the chat makes the vibe of these chats so nice.
For real.
And so active.
Thank you.
It's been a while. This is our first live stream for the year. You really started it off with a bang. I feel really happy and energetic after today.
Yes.
And we love you. We love you.
We do.
Love
Korea,
you
great
all.
value.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you,
You're
baby.
welcome.
All right. So we're gonna go to the next page, the final page. So here we go. It's the end. So
Stream
thank
outro.
you,
Roll the
thank you.
outro.
Oh my God, roll the outro. Thank you, everybody, and see you soon, my loves, our loves. And stay awesome, babies. Bye bye.